So we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Dan Duran, and this is the Tech Lounge. I'm sitting here with our president and CEO of Rhino Cybersecurity, Andrew Summerton. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. Hey, everybody. Really good to be back here Friday afternoon. Gotta love it.
Absolutely. Yes. Every Friday at 12 o'clock here on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, we stream live for you. Make sure you go to our site and also sign up for our newsletter, Purple Talk, right? So we have a great show for you today. You've been hacked. So we're going to explore kind of the latest news out there in terms of what companies have been hacked, right? We have the case of Uber. We have the case of Rockstar that just their video game GTA 6 got leaked a couple of days ago, and then Uber probably about a week ago, less than a week ago, also got hacked. And why did they get hacked? And also, we're going to show you what to do to tell whether your network and your computer is hacked, and then things that we do here at Rhino Cybersecurity to do a little threat hunt and make sure that we find suspicious files, clean up stuff, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, we have a really good show for you. Who do we have online saying hi?
Yeah, lots of
We
people.
have
Hi.
Kai Younglan. Kai says hi. Hello, Younglan. I hope you're doing fantastic. Hello, Mohammed. You're from Pakistan. Hi from
Pakistan.
Pakistan, Mohammed.
Hey,
Nice to
hey, Mohammed.
have you on board.
Welcome. Absolutely.
All right,
So we're saying hi
Sean.
to everybody. I just switched call it. I wanted to jump in here a little bit and tell you a little bit what we've been doing the last few days, actually. So Dan and I, and for those of you who follow us regularly, I'm sure you know about this, but I just want to kind of give you a live update of what happened. So Dan and myself, we were actually at the conference Elevate 2022. Dan's actually sharing it. Beautiful. 30,000 attendance, 350 guest speakers. Incredible. Hey, Shangiz, nice to see you. And we met a lot of wonderful people. There was some really successful businesses, business leaders, sports leaders, really successful individuals who had a lot of insight and a lot of value to share. And you know what I got about it was, inclusion. I got so much out of it, and it was about
Yes.
passion. It was about inclusion. It
Yeah.
was about, people coming together and sharing their ideas, not about perfection, not about being the best, but about, just sharing incredible things everybody's working on, all in the tech space and in the art space. And it was just a really motivating time. And I just want to send kudos out to our CTO and risk advisor and my business partner, Dan Duran. He actually spoke. Here he is. He spoke on how to stop cyber attacks when your defenses have failed. And it was all about our MDR product. And he did a fantastic job, very well received. The audience and everybody really enjoyed what he had to say. And what I really want to emphasize is everybody talking on the risk stage or the cybersecurity stage, really amplified everything we basically and everything Dan spoke about, about network protection and how little there is, and all the endpoint detection and all protections and all the things that are in place. It's a missing link, and so it really coincided really nicely with all the talks. And kudos to you, Dan. It was incredible event. Kudos
Yes.
to the team at Elevate. Fantastic. I hope we're invited back. And I'm sure everybody who attended absolutely loved it. Very well organized and very well done. So thank you. And yeah, we had a great time. And thanks for
Yeah,
being
it
here.
was a
Thanks
great
for
show, man. It was a great show. The thing is that like it could be, according to a report from IBM Security, there's 287 days, right? 287 days for a company to confirm and to be able to detect and mitigate a cyber attack. That's a lot of time, and with the MDR, we're able to respond and we're able to detect within minutes. So
absolutely.
that's kind of like a game changer for us. All right, let's get going. So
All right.
GTA 6 got leaked, guys. Oh man, this was I looked at the footage. So this is let me show you the footage of the leakage here for GTA 6. So let's see if we can see it here. There you go. So different sectors. I'm not gonna have the video on, right? So these are the containment sectors. So this is like product in development that got leaked a few days ago, right? So here we go. Oh, that's crazy stuff, right? So and then Uber also got licked, right? And I got something for you here that is kind of very interesting, very interesting. So is the Uber? Let me see if I can find it here. All right, so Uber got also hacked, and I don't know if you remember this, Andrew, from last week,
I do.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Sorry, I was going to say to Gladstone, Dan, can you do me a favor? Can we just put a pause for 1 second? I'm not familiar with this, and typically we don't go down, specific areas. But Shangiz has posted something that I think is quite. We have a high respect for Shangiz. He's not only an incredible wealth of knowledge in his field and very highly respected. And he represents a huge community and education, etc. And again, he's a loyal follower, and he attends our shows on a regular basis. But he's posted something. Um, but it's just I'm just wondering. We can't really we don't really know much about it, Shangiz. So at the end of the day, I think he's just basically saying that something has happened, unfortunately,
yeah,
in Iran.
I think what's going on is that there is a something going on in Iran, that the
Right.
government is it's mass murdering people in there, and it's pretty bad. So the only problem is that here in YouTube we don't want to get ding, and I don't want to get a strike from YouTube if we
Eh,
kind of like go over the
the,
like
the
the
political
the
line, basically.
policies. Yeah,
Exactly,
so
exactly.
yeah,
But
so
but I just, out of respect to Shangiz, I just wanted to talk about it in the sense as in respect to you, Shangiz, and I did notice it. And to Dan's point, I agree with the whole YouTube thing, and again the rules and regulations and how we say it. But for those of
yeah,
you basically who are following it, you can take a look at it yourself. And you know
yeah.
what? Obviously, any in our heartfelt goes out a long way for what is happening. Again, I'm not completely familiar with
Yeah.
it right now,
So
so
what we can say, guys, check out the news on Iran, okay, and what's
absolutely.
going on over there in terms of some really bad stuff from the government and stuff that they are doing. So go to the news outlets. It's pretty much everywhere. So I like to mention that for Changiz. But
Absolutely.
I can post, and we can't talk about what's going on in there, because we are streaming on different social media channels, right? And what happens is we say things that are not part of their policies, they usually ding people. So that's
For sure.
yeah, it's not
But I
it's not
no, and I
good.
and I agree, and I think Shangiz, he appreciates it. We mentioned what we needed to mention, and again, our respect and our thoughts out to everybody. And go ahead and do your
Exactly.
own investigation and look at it. So absolutely,
Yes.
Shangiz, absolutely our pleasure, and thanks always for being here.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Dan. I didn't mean
All
to
right.
cut you
So
off, but I wanted to jump in there.
September 19, Uber actually posted this security update of what happened. So basically, what happened is that an Uber EXT contractor had their account compromised, right? In The hacker purchased basically the username and password for this contractor, so VPN, from the dark web for $10, right? $10.
$10. Wow.
Then what the hacker did is they pretended they were an IT support specialist, and they started trying to get into the VPN, which had two-factor authentication. Right, it had two-factor authentication, so every time they try to get in, the a phone would be sent. A message on the phone would be sent to the contractor, and the contractor did not click on the link, right? So the hacker kept on trying and trying and trying, and then the hacker contacted the contractor via WhatsApp, right? And then until the contractor just kind of like gave up, he okay, I'm gonna click on the link on the phone. He clicked, and then he gave the hacker access to a lot of bad stuff, right? So they access several of their employee accounts. They were able to access to Slack, to their AWS accounts and stuff like that. So this is what they're saying. They're saying that they identified the employee, right, that was hacked. They disabled many of the affected potentially or potentially effective internal tools, and they rotated keys, so they locked down the code base, all of that stuff. And what Uber is saying is that they did not access any of the production servers, right? The funny thing is that in the news, and I posted it also, it was leaked that the hacker was able to access inside of a PowerShell script, hard coded username and password to get into their AWS. So that's not a good kind of security policy that you should have in the company. I mean, developers should not put
No.
hard-coded credentials inside of any scripts, any website, any software, right? So that's a no-no there, right?
Hey, Dan, speaking of that, during our conference this week, actually, one of the talks was all about that, like the responsibility of coders and the responsibility of, the new meta universe and building code and basically how that directly affects cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff. I mean, is that kind of this scenario? Is it a coding issue? I mean, basically that they hard coded this in and it shouldn't have been done that way.
Absolutely, you have to have processes for security in your code and developing your code right from the unit testing all the way to the deploying the code base. You should be testing for security 100%, right? So in this case, there's something shady in here that they shouldn't been able to get to that hard coded. That's kind of like software security 101, right? So who's responsible? And this is where it gets hot, guys. This is where it gets hot. Who is responsible for this hack? It was an 18-year-old, right? So it wasn't this is crazy. I'm gonna take you to kind of like this rabbit hole today, which is actually pretty crazy. So we believe that this attack or attackers are affiliated with a hacking group called Lapsus, which has been increasingly active over the past year or so. This group typically uses similar techniques to target technology companies. In 2022 alone, they breached Microsoft, Cisco, Samsung, Nvidia, and Alka. That's like a lot of companies. And also Rockstar Games. Look at the connection. So Rockstar Games got hacked a couple of days ago. Their video, the new GTA 6, was leaked, and it was because of Lapsus. And let me tell you a little bit about Lapsus because it is getting very crazy here, right? Lapsus is a prolific hacking group run by teenagers. Teenagers, guys. So this is crazy. This goes really into the rabbit hole. And if you look at this, the Lapsus hacking group first made headlines when it waged a ransomware attack against the Brazilian Ministry of Health in 2021.
Wow!
And here's the news: a teen is reportedly to mastermind behind the Lapsus hacking group. Oh man, this goes. This is pretty. Here it is. Look at this. Brazilian Ministry of Health suffered cyber attack and COVID-19 vaccination data just out of the blue vanishes, right? So this is the Brazilian government getting hacked by these teenagers, right? And then Nvidia gets hacked, right? So here's the news for Nvidia. Nvidia says its proprietary information is being leaked by hackers. So look at that. And if we go back, Samsung gets hacked, right? By this darn teenagers. Oh my god. What do you think about this? Any comments, guys? I mean, these are the hack that happened to Rockstar. The teenager was 16 years old.
Well, and this is the biggest thing, right? We talk about rules and regulations. We talk about policies and procedures. We talk about, laws and enforcements. And the problem is you can have all that in place and anybody can be doing these targets. Anybody could be like hackers, 16 years old, the ramification, the ripple effect, who's actually getting caught to this. It's actually mind boggling to the process. And as technology advances and the larger companies, and again, even after the last couple of days of listening to these people speak in multiple organizations, I don't care how big you are of an organization, everybody is subjected to a cyber risk or cyber attack. And 16-year-old kids doing it, 15-year-old, 14-year-old kids doing this, it's a global problem, and it's not going away anytime soon, if ever. It's crazy. I think it's crazy, Dan. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, it, if you get here's my tip of the day. Okay, if you're gonna take this tip in anything from this show today,
This is
right?
the tip.
If you're
Wait
going
a second.
to
Let me get a pen. Let me write this down. All right, here we go.
if you're going to learn anything of what I'm saying right now,
Okay.
make sure you remember this tip. If you get a code on your phone, right, through your two-factor authentication or a link to your email to click and allow access, 100% of the time, if it's not you, it's going to be a hacker. Okay. so
So don't push it.
So don't click. Don't give somebody. Oh yeah, the six number code is 23456 7. Whatever. Don't give it to it's whoever is requesting it. You're hacked. They actually have your credentials. They have your username and your password. So what you gotta do is you gotta go online and change every single password you have, and you can remember. If it comes from Amazon, gotta change your password, man. It doesn't matter how many times they try to send you the link and send you that code. Don't give it to them, because this is exactly what happened with Uber. The guy is a developer. Listen, he's a developer, right? And as a developer, he should know better because he works with technology every day, right? So, and the hackers insisted, and they insisted, and then until he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna click, fine, because the hacker pretended that they were an IT professional from Uber, right? And they kept on sending him WhatsApp messages until he just fine got fed up, clicked on the link, gave the hacker access. How bad is that? And you know what? This group of teenagers,
Wow,
is exactly what they're doing.
for sure.
Exactly what they're doing. They're targeting the human component, not really the technology. They're actually deceiving people, right? So, Gladstone, if you can put that on my screen on the or my desktop on the screen. Also, Diego says, awesome how the human touch can mess up all of the technology. Absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about. Deception in here. Guys, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them online. I'm showing you the Microsoft hacked confirmed from Lapsus hackers. They stole source code via a limited access, and they did it exactly the same way. They were able to get somebody to click on the links.
For sure.
This
And
is really bad, man.
but you know what's really important about this, Dan, too, though. I mean, we talk about our, the MDR. I'm going to throw a little plug in for our MDR because it's all about in managing time and expectations and pivoting points in networks, right? And so, yes, to Diego's point, the human component, and it can hurt so much. But if you have the right measures in place, and it's about mitigating risk, not eliminating it, but by having the right things in place, like an MDR, etc., from 287 days of being into a system. Now, I know this is an isolated situation, but again, by putting things in place like that, it's immediate it's immediate to be able to recognize it, then isolate it, then shut it down and control it, right? Versus having someone take over an entire network. But it's all about having the right things in place. There's no question.
Exactly. So put the question from Diego. Diego has a question for us. So if you can put that on, he asks, I have seen a lot of memes about the GTA situation. Ha ha ha! Incredible. No, that's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the question that Diego posted in there, Gladstone. If you can put it online, he says, "My question is: those companies that have been hacked, were they hacked because of a lack of protection, or what do you think?" Perfect. It's good that you asked, Diego, because I did have a here. This is one of our Purple Talk newsletter articles that just came out on September 22nd. So yesterday, guys, on what happened. So the top 5 reasons why data breaches happen, right? And this is really important. The first one is, this is why it happens. So unpatched security vulnerabilities, right? So your servers, your stuff is unpatched, it's not maintained, it has vulnerabilities, CVEs, we call them in the cyber world. That's number one cause. The second one is human error. Just like this contractor from Uber is human error. It's not being able to identify when they're getting hacked. They click on the link, they get the access. They give the hackers access. So that's number 2, right? And then malware. Malware also it causes havoc, right? So
Mhm.
whether it is a phishing, like a Word document sent as an attachment on a phishing email where it has a macro, you click and then you unload a beast of a malware on your computer, or you go to a link and it gets something downloaded and executable. Now, hackers are not even using executables. They're using processes, DLLs, right? So they can bypass cybersecurity mechanisms. We have a comment um, from Cengiz. Maybe you can post that. Um, yeah, he says a group of young Iranians in Germany has
Mhm.
established the group called Anonymous
Anonymous,
to
big one,
hack the
yeah.
Iran's government site. Okay, so Anonymous. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that it came from Iranians in Germany. And then there is a big Iranian group, hacker group.
for sure. Well, we spoke about Anonymous a couple times, a couple shows back. So familiar with that, just not familiar with that work actually, or that there were Iranians in Germany.
Yeah, so I'm looking for that. I don't remember the name of it. Yes. So yeah, that's absolutely right. So let's go back to the screen, Gladstone, if you don't mind. So malware is number 3. Then we go into insider threats, right? So these are actually, employees. It's disgruntled employees, or they could be malicious, like like an actual employee attacking their own network, trying to get some data or leaking data and stuff like that. Or it could be non-malicious, so making a mistake and then having an insider threat, right? So that also is the cost. Then physical theft or data carrying device. So if I have a laptop and it's not
Yeah.
encrypted, and then I left it in the airport,
Or
right?
the taxi. Someone used that as an example this week.
Yeah, that could happen, right? Like you take, or a phone, for example, or that can be cracked, right? Stuff that can be cracked. Or like a lot of companies, that you should have some sort of policy in terms of thrashing and getting rid of, disposing of technical and technology, like laptops and stuff like that, because a lot of companies, they just toss them in the garbage. But you can go, like dumpster, it's called
Dumpster, that's
dumpster
right.
diving. You can go in there, pick it up, and then retrieve the hard drives. And even when the hard drives are erased, they're not really erased. You know that, right? I hope everybody knows that when you format your hard drive, you're not reformatting your hard drive. You're not deleting the data. The data stays in your hard drive. All you're doing is just starting from zero to in terms of the disk space, but the data is still there. It's just flagged as deleted. So that's how like a lot of people get caught, like murders and stuff like that, and and bad stuff. They think they're deleting the data. They just reformat the computer, but the data is still there. So you
Right.
have to do some serious degaussing. It's called degaussing when you put the data to on a hard drive. You have to destroy the hard drive, right?
Right.
So, or the SSD and stuff. So
Yeah.
those are the main causes, and that's a really good question. Look at that. I had the answer for you right
Right.
on the
It's right.
screen, Diego.
Beautiful. Couldn't be better timing. Uh,
Yes.
Dan, we have a couple comments from Jeffrey actually. If I don't know if Gladstone's seen them or not, but maybe we can put those up, Gladstone, if that works well.
That's a really good point, Jeffrey. He says teenagers don't need to know the NIST
Yes, yes,
853 or the content needed to get certified for a CISP, so the
absolutely.
the Certified Information Security professional certificate to know how to hack. Absolutely, what you need is just to get into GitHub, learn a little bit of coding, and then do like do the attacks. And not even that, all you have to do is know how to deceive humans.
Humans, yeah.
And that's the thing, like that, like unfortunately employees are the weakest link, and that's and for a reason. It's because technology is hard to crack, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but we are pen testers, so we do pen testing all the time. We have contracts with companies, and sometimes it's hard to get into systems, right? Because they have a lot of security around them. So you need to know a lot of technical stuff to be able to deploy scripts and do stuff, right? For example, creating malware is not an easy task, right? There's so many defenses that get stopped. So the easiest way to be able to crack a system is by deceiving somebody.
And
It's
somebody,
by
yep.
just, like pretending to be an IT professional. Okay, yeah, let's get into a remote connection. Download TeamViewer, and I'll help you with this. And then while I'm helping you, underneath, under the hood, I'm
Taking
sending you.
everything out.
I'm deploying a script so I can create a CNC and get you connected to one of my CNC servers, and then have that connection, and then exfiltrate all your data and do the job that I need to do as a hacker. That's basically how people get companies get hacked most of the time, right? So all right, so moving on, right? So what to do if you get hacked, right? um or let's yeah so this guys, man, 18-year-olds, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Guys, what do you think out there? What do you think? What are your comments in terms of, like, teenagers hacking humongous technology companies, Microsoft, Uber, Rockstar Games? Woof. Offended nation states are not concerned about our local certifications either. Yep, absolutely. Like APTs, man, everywhere. APTs, active, persistent threats from government states. How about, hey, Jeffrey, how about systematic attacks using the supply chain? So, like, I'm talking about a couple of years ago, we had what is the name? I forget the name. Solar Winds
Right.
hack, where like they were able to trick the certificates and then deploy attacks all across the board. That's just crazy. All right, so what to do, or how to tell whether you being hacked, your network is being hacked, your computer is being hacked? I have in the captions here, Gladstone. Let's throw in number one. All right, new programs have been installed on our folder or file creators. Okay, guys, so that's the first step, right? So if you hopefully you're going to have some sort of inventory of all your software in, and hopefully you're going to have some application whitelisting or some sort of accounting of all the software that every user in your network has, right? In their computer. If you see software that does not belong, that is not part of that whitelist, it is very fishy, right? So if you're, especially if you're not allowing users by default, you're not allowing users to download and install software, and all of a sudden you see a piece of software running on their computer, it is a telltale sign that there's something going on with that computer, right? Especially if the certificates for that application are not valid, right? Or like another telltale sign is that if you go into the properties in Windows machines, because 90% of the networks run on Windows, and you do go into the properties and look at the processes of that application, look at the IP addresses. If those IP addresses are suspicious IP addresses, 100% your computer is hacked, right? So that's number one. Number two. All right, so this one is one that I hear a lot. Spam is being sent out. So let me give you a little story. One of our clients, right? One of our clients, their vendor got hacked. Okay, so their Exchange server got hacked. And when they were going through the emails, the hackers on the vendor, they found contracts, right? They found contracts, and they started spamming other companies, their client companies. And our client got an email from that vendor, from somebody that they knew. So Peter at company.com, they knew them, legitimate email. So zero day attack, basically legitimate email with change of contract with a PDF. So when our client went, luckily they know about, they were actually they went through our cybersecurity awareness training. So but they informed us that they got the email from the vendor, they clicked, and it launched a credential harvesting site, right? So that is very, very typical. So if you hear from anybody, your colleagues, or like your vendors, your clients, anybody in the supply chain, that, hey, I got a spam email from you, what is this? It's probably because your system is being hacked and is sending out emails to everybody, right? So we got 4 comments on the line. So okay, Gladstone, throw in a comment. Sean says we used to drill through the drives or give them a once over with a sledgehammer. Yeah,
Sledgehammer.
so he's talking about the extraction of material
Exactly.
of technology. It feels good, man. It feels good to just grab the sledgehammer and just
And break it, smash
boom,
it.
boom, right. So, what else do we have in there?
Yeah, don't be shy to put them up because and ask questions, guys. That's what this show's all about, is interaction.
Yes, hackers attack human
Attack human
emotions for
emotions.
phishing or
That's it.
pretexting. Yeah, absolutely. 100% they deceive the human in several many ways. I've almost fallen victim to a phishing attack as well. So it is not a joke, man. Like even the most sophisticated, more well or learned person in terms of cybersecurity can actually get hacked if they
Of course.
act on an emotion and impulse, like very spur, like spur of the moment kind of thing, right? Anything else in there, Gladstone? All right. So Diego says, and those teenagers might be a step forward because they don't need that. They're just acting, and
Yes,
actions beat
they don't need
certificates.
they don't need their
100%.
certificates. 100%. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what Jeffrey was mentioning. Like we're bogged down with the paperwork, the minutia protection, and these guys
Yeah,
don't. They can just do what they want when they want, however they want. So
absolutely. And you know what? The thing is, when I think about Conti, for example, or Locky, or Ave Maria, and all of these ransomware, the main objective for the hackers is to be able to get money. 100%, right? They want to get money. But it seems like this group made of teenagers, they just want to cause havoc. They
havoc.
just want
Yeah.
to create destruction. They just want to leak stuff into the world, right? So I don't know. I don't know, because they hacked Rockstar, and then they published their videos on their GTA 6, right? And then Uber, they leaked their stuff, but there's no money attached to whatever it is they're doing. So I think they're doing it just for the
Well, and
for the
at the
clicks.
end of the day, years ago, when you had like controversy, or you had issues, you had walk-ins, you'd have rallies, you do all kinds of stuff. Now you can have political agendas that are hidden behind the scenes, that have skill sets that can shut down economies, they can shut down businesses. If you have a problem, they can take things into their own hands in a lot greater scale now, right? So, and that's what these kind of groups are doing, and they, to your point, Dan, they just want to
Yes.
create havoc, and they have that skill set now to be able to do that.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, Gladstone. Let's go into number 3. Okay, so I think we had a comment in there.
From
I
Jeffrey, yeah.
used D-ban. It works pretty good. Okay, so D-ban. You know what? Actually, I don't know what D-ban is. So let's put it on the screen. D-ban, data removal. Okay, so it's a data removal, and um, perfect. Look at this. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for this information. Data
Absolutely.
removal, Durex, boot, and nuke. So basically, this is a degausser, I guess, of sorts, that you can put your hard drives through this DBAN, and then it'll destroy your data, right? So very good to know, right? Perfect. There is also an improved paid version
Pay
now
attention now.
of
Cool.
DBAN. Yeah, so amazing. Yeah, great, great. Usually the sledgehammer, I noticed that is a little cheaper, and it does the job just as good.
The
Maybe
screwdriver.
I don't know about screwdrivers.
No, I don't think so either, because I don't know, catching on fire. I don't know.
Screwdrivers do not work on SSDs, just so we are aware, because it has different sectors, right? So you
Okay.
might destroy some of the
One little
data,
piece